Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into the big conversation around AI, not the sci-fi version, but the real here and now kind that's changing lives.
Yep, absolutely. Right, it's all about stopping the fear and missing out on the real opportunities that AI brings, isn't it?
Exactly. You see, a lot of people are watching from the sidelines, gripped by fear, fears about job loss, not being tech savvy, or that
Mm-hmm.
it's too late to catch up. And honestly, this report makes a strong case. The real risk isn't AI, it's staying idle while everyone else rides the wave.
And that fear, it's based on a lot of exaggerated headlines, right? The media loves drama, so they pump up the risks.
Yeah, it's like they mix together unrelated trends like layoffs and AI investments to create this misleading narrative. But if you look at actual data, the so-called apocalyptic predictions just don't add up.
Right. So then, what are the real advantages for someone willing to engage with AI today?
Oh man, there are so many. For instance, think about how AI can streamline writing tasks, emails, reports, cover letters. They go from
Yeah,
taking
that's
45
impressive.
minutes to maybe four. It's about leveraging efficiency and creativity at the same time.
That's a game changer. And what about learning? This report seems to highlight AI as a personal tutor.
Absolutely. Imagine having an on demand mentor available 24/7 to explain topics, break down complex information, even tailor lessons to your pace. It's like having your own classroom in your pocket.
Uh-huh. And there's that idea of AI handling the mechanical parts of work, freeing us up for, the strategies that truly require human touch.
Right, like planning, organizing, and even creative processes. The report stresses that AI simply amplifies human qualities, empathy, creativity, judgment. It's not here to replace those qualities, but to support them.
Indeed. I find it interesting how it compares today's transition with previous ones, like moving from typewriters to word processors. It's that same kind of shift.
Exactly. Every disruptive tech moment, from electricity to the internet, had skeptics who said, oh, this is going to ruin everything. And yet, those who adapted ended up thriving.
Yeah, that pattern's hard to argue with. So it's really about a mindset shift. Instead of fearing, it's about harnessing AI to boost your potential.
Yes, and it's humbling but empowering to realize that you don't need a tech background to start. All you need is curiosity and a willingness to experiment with like just 15 minutes a day.
Right on. But doesn't that sound a bit too simplified? I mean, isn't there a risk of oversimplifying the learning curve?
That's a fair point. But the idea is not that you become an expert overnight. It's more about overcoming that initial inertia. The report clearly states that starting small is key. Even if it feels basic, those small wins compound over time.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And they also mentioned that fear can be a trap, a self-fulfilling hesitation that keeps you behind.
Right, it's almost paradoxical. People fear AI so much that they end up not using it, which then leaves them
Exactly.
trailing behind. The risk isn't coming from the technology itself, it comes from your resistance to change.
I also noticed the report debunks some big myths. For example, the claim that AI is rapidly automating jobs or will soon become uncontrollable.
Oh, yes, it's quite eye-opening. Look, less than 5% of job cuts, if any, have AI as a direct cause. And for the self-improving AI myth, it's not like these systems are on an endless self-upgrade cycle. Improvements take human effort, research, and, well, time.
Right, that makes sense. And then there's that myth about needing to be either young or super technical to benefit from AI, right?
Absolutely. The strongest evidence shows that willingness to experiment is what matters most. People from all walks of life, regardless of age or background, can tap into AI effectively if they're just curious enough to give it
Yeah,
a shot.
Now, what really struck me is how it highlights the real danger. Not the AI takeover, but the widening gap between those who use AI and those who don't.
This gap is one of the largest emerging sources of inequality. If you choose to ignore AI, you're essentially, ceding ground to others who make it a part of their daily routines.
That's a powerful warning. The report paints technology transitions as historical inevitabilities, inevitably disruptive, but ultimately enriching society overall. And here's the kicker. Those who engage now have a massive advantage.
Absolutely. It's like being at the early days of the internet. Early adopters reaped the benefits because they weren't paralyzed by fear. Now the window is still open, but it won't remain this wide forever.
Right? Shifting gears a bit, let's talk about some practical applications. How can someone begin to harness AI today?
Great point. The roadmap in this report is super actionable. Step 1 is to identify one repetitive, time consuming task, maybe writing an email or planning your schedule, and use a
Yeah,
free
that's very
AI
practical.
tool to simplify it.
I like that approach. It's not about overhauling everything at once, but rather starting with one small, manageable step.
And then step 2 is to refine your use, learn from the outputs, and iterate. You ask the tool to adjust its results until you get exactly what you need. It's not about perfection at the first go. It's a process like a conversation with a very knowledgeable friend.
Got it. That sounds like an invitation to a continuous learning journey where over time, those 15-minute investments make you a powerhouse.
That's right. The report really drives home that idea. Small, consistent experimentation compounds and can yield massive improvements in efficiency and creativity.
Definitely. Now, what do you say to the critics who might argue that embracing AI erodes authenticity or diminishes human work?
I'd say that's the same old debate every time a new tool emerges. Remember when writers protested word processors? The reality is that tools like AI are here to handle mechanical tasks, freeing creative minds to focus on the truly, human elements like judgment and empathy.
Yeah, I see that point. But what if someone argues that relying on AI too much might dull your own critical thinking? Isn't there a risk?
That's a valid concern. However, the report suggests that used correctly, AI acts less as a crutch and more as a thinking partner. It challenges you, provokes you to ask smarter questions, and essentially sharpens your own reasoning skills.
Right, so it can actually enhance our cognitive abilities. It's almost like stepping into a partnership where you bring the creativity and AI brings the efficiency.
And that partnership is what transforms tasks that used to be tedious into avenues for creative exploration and growth.
Yeah, let's also touch on how AI can help with personal organization. The report mentions everything from meal planning to travel itineraries, right?
Yes, AI takes on the heavy mental load of organizing our lives. You supply your constraints, budget, time preferences, and it comes back with a detailed plan. Imagine how many hours you'd save every week.
That's a huge relief. And isn't that freeing up more time for the work that truly matters?
Absolutely, it's about reclaiming your mental energy for creative and strategic pursuits. The idea is AI amplifies the human touch rather than replacing it.
Right. So, if I understand correctly, the key takeaway is to shift from a fear based approach to one of active engagement with AI, using it as a tool, a partner, and a catalyst for growth.
Exactly. It's about viewing AI as the opportunity it is, a present, not just a future possibility. The report calls it Stop Fearing AI, Fear Missing It. You either step up and use these tools to advance, or you risk falling behind in an increasingly competitive landscape.
Absolutely, can't argue with that. And finally, the report invites everyone to join a community where you can learn and grow together with no technical background required. It's a call to be proactive and seize the opportunity.
Right. Join in, experiment, and build the version of you that's more confident, more efficient, and more in control of life's
Yeah, that's the
challenges.
spirit. Thanks for breaking this down today. It really shines a light on how embracing AI isn't about fear at all. It's about actively choosing a better, more empowered path forward.
And remember, the power is in your hands.
Time to be bold, experiment, and don't let fear hold you back.
Stop just watching from the sidelines and jump into the Master in AI. It's completely free to join. No tech background needed. Just real people learning AI together. And that version of you, the one that's more confident, more efficient, and no longer afraid, starts the moment you click that link right below this video in the description. We'll be waiting for you inside.